Sympathy and understanding. Abdu'l-Baha's deep sympathy and understanding for the human condition, with its frailties and needs, generated his natural desire to help as much as was possible. In Akka, the master's room often contained not even a bed, as he was continually giving his own to those more needy than he. Wrapped in a blanket, he would lie on the floor or even on the roof of his home. It was not possible to buy a bed in the town of Akka. A bed ordered from Haifa took at least 36 hours to arrive. Inevitably, when the master went on his morning round of visitations and found a feverish individual tossing on bare ground, he sent him his bed. Only after his own situation was inadvertently discovered did he receive another bed, thanks to some kind friend. During his last earthly hours, Abdu'l-Baha lay in bed with a fever, and his night robe needed changing. However, none could be found, as he had given them away. When a Turkish man living in Haifa lost his position, he, his wife, and children were in desperate need. They went to Abdu'l-Baha for help and were naturally greatly aided. When the poor man became ill, again the master stood ready to help. He provided a doctor, medicine, and provisions to make him comfortable. When this man felt he was to die, he asked for Abdu'l-Baha and called his children to him. "Here," he told the children, "is your father, who will take care of you when I am gone." One morning, 4 small children arrived at the home of Abdu'l-Baha and announced, "We want our father." The master, hearing their voices, knew who they were. They shared their sorrow with him. Their own father had died. Abdu'l-Baha brought them in and gave them drink, sweets, and cakes. He then went with them to their home. Their announcement had been premature. Their father had merely fainted, but the next day he passed away. The master arranged for the funeral and provided food, clothing, and travel tickets for the family to go to Turkey. His sympathetic heart was as wide as the universe. When he reached the Occident, however, Abdu'l-Baha faced a condition which troubled him greatly, because it was beyond his power to assuage the misery he saw constantly about him. Housed luxuriously at Cadogan Gardens, London, he knew that within a stone's throw of him were people who had never had enough to eat, and in New York there was exactly the same situation. These things made him exceedingly sad, and he said, "The time will come in the near future when humanity will become so much more sensitive than at present, that the man of great wealth will not enjoy his luxury, in comparison with the deplorable poverty about him. He will be forced, for his own happiness, to expend his wealth to procure better conditions for the community in which he lives." So sensitive and sympathetic was the master to human suffering that he admitted to surprise that others could be quite oblivious to it. In Paris, he expressed his feelings. "I have just been told that there has been a terrible accident in this country. A train has fallen into the river, and at least 20 people have been killed. This is going to be a matter for discussion in the French Parliament today, and the director of the state railway will be called upon to speak. He will be cross-examined as to the condition of the railroad and as to what caused the accident, and there will be a heated argument. I am filled with wonder and surprise to notice what interest and excitement has been aroused throughout the whole country on account of the death of 20 people, while they remain cold and indifferent to the fact that thousands of Italians, Turks, and Arabs are killed in Tripoli. The horror of this wholesale slaughter has not disturbed the government at all. Yet, these unfortunate people are human beings too. Generosity. Abdu'l-Baha gave freely of what he had: love, time, care and concern, food and money, clothing and flowers, a bed, a rug. His motto appeared to be frugality for himself, generosity for others. Stories of the master's self-denial in favor of others' well-being are legion. He was bountiful as the rain in his generosity to the poor. Because he and his family were rich in the love of God, they accepted material deprivation for themselves gladly. On the other hand, if the master knew of a broken window or a leaky roof, which were health hazards, he would make sure the necessary repairs were completed. He did not need or want luxury. This became obvious on his trip to America. Once, after a few days in beautiful rooms reserved for him by the friends in one city, he moved to a simple apartment. However, in hotels, he tipped so generously as to cause astonishment. In homes where he was entertained, he left thoughtful gifts for both hosts and servants. It should be emphasized that he went from coast to coast to speak without pay or benefit of contract. Abdu'l-Baha's generosity was natural to him already in childhood. A story is recorded of the time when young Abbas Effendi went to the mountains to see the thousands of sheep which his father then owned. The shepherds, wishing to honor their young guest, gave him a feast. Before Abbas was taken home, at the close of the day, the head shepherd advised him that it was customary under the circumstances to leave a present for the shepherds. Abbas told the man that he had nothing to give, yet the shepherd persisted that he must give something. Whereupon the master gave them all the sheep. We are told that when Baha'u'llah heard about this incident, he laughed and commented, "We will have to protect Abdu'l-Baha from himself. Someday he will give himself away." It is told that in the home of Baha'u'llah, there was a beautiful rug upon which he used to sit. One day, a poor Arab brought a load of wood to the house. He saw the rug and was very much attracted by its beauty. He handled it with great appreciation and exclaimed, "Oh, how wonderful it must be to have such a splendid rug to sit upon." Abdu'l-Baha heard him and said, "If you like the rug, take it." The man could not believe it was really a gift. Fearing he would lose it, he put it over his shoulder and began to run, looking back to see if anyone was coming to take it from him. With delicious humor, Abdu'l-Baha said, "Go on, no one is going to take it away from you." Another instance of his generosity concerned a rug, which was among the most exquisite ever created in Persia. Woven of purest silk, patterned as a rose garden, and bordered with heavy twisted cord of real gold, it was bought from merchants after World War I. With great effort, it was brought to Haifa by way of Afghanistan and India due to transportation and travel problems. When the generous pilgrim arrived after tiring weeks of travel, he took the rug to the pilgrim house adjacent to the shrine of the Bab and spread it out on the floor. Abdu'l-Baha arrived and immediately inquired of the caretaker whose carpet that was, and upon being told, he said that so valuable a work of art should not be on the floor, where it might become spoiled, and he gave instructions for it to be rolled up and put away. The pilgrim then told Abdu'l-Baha that the carpet had been brought for him, and he replied that so beautiful a gift should be placed in the shrine of Baha'u'llah, and that he would place it there himself. Within a few days, resident believers and pilgrims went with Abdu'l-Baha to Bahji. They boarded a train in Haifa for Akka. From Akka, a carriage took the older friends to Bahji. The master rode his now famous white donkey. The younger ones walked. The pilgrim from the east offered the master some chocolate, and this he shared with some others. He related that, "We asked permission of the master to sing, and when he graciously permitted us, we began to sing. I do not remember what the songs were, whether they were our chants or other songs, but I know that I never felt so happy in my life as then when singing in the presence of the master. And I am sure all the others felt the same way." After we reached Bahji, we had dinner, and then Abdu'l-Baha spread the carpet in the holy shrine. And thus my hope was realized. This exquisite rug, the most valuable ornament of Baha'u'llah's shrine, was eventually donated by Shoghi Effendi to the Baha'i House of Worship in Wilmette, Illinois.